It is within our very nature to stay within the things that we're used to, right? Our comfort zone. It's easy to stay comfortable, to stay in the familiar, and to do what we've always done. But in order to transcend our current state of consciousness, to transcend our limitations, which hopefully we all have the desire for in order to call in a better life for both ourselves and collectively for the world. But in order to do that, we have to break free from this illusionary sense of comfort. It's literally been written in the Bible for thousands of years that this level of transcendence, us raising our consciousness so high that we transcend the limits of our physical bodies, that level of consciousness has been promised to us. The question is, how are we getting there? Are we getting there through pain and suffering, or are we getting there by being proactive and stepping outside of our comfort zone consciously, making that decision to shift to a new state rather than letting the new state shift us? Because we're getting there regardless, whether we have to come back over and over and over again many lifetimes to correct what we need to correct in order to transform and elevate, or if we get it right this time around. That's up to us. In this video, I'm going to share how you can raise your consciousness, how you can transcend your limitations. I'm going to share a story from the Old Testament that was written thousands of years ago and then decoded by an ancient mysticism called Kabbalah, and I'm going to explain how that wisdom practically impacts our lives today. Let's get into it. Hey Creatrix, welcome to the YouTube channel. I'm Rojosa, and if this is the first time that you're seeing my face, then welcome. It's so nice to have you here, and if it's not the first time, then welcome back. I believe that we were all created to create the best world possible, and that begins with us creating the best world possible for ourselves, so that way we have that full cup energy to be able to share with others and elevate this world. Now, I want to share a story that was inspired by last week's Bible portion, and it's the story of Abraham. And in this story, God tells Abraham, leave your country, leave your people, leave your father's household, and go to a land that I will show you, from Genesis 12:1. So it's in this story that God tells Abraham to leave his country and to migrate to the land of Israel. And according to the wisdom of Kabbalah, the term Israel refers to a state of consciousness. Rather than just symbolizing a physical place, it's actually a code for a higher spiritual existence. God tells him to leave his land and to migrate to the land of Israel, which is considered the promised land, so that he can embark on both a physical and spiritual journey. Now, the ancient wisdom of Kabbalah teaches us that the term Israel is actually a code for a higher level of spiritual existence. So what God is referring to when he tells Abraham to leave his current country and move to the land of Israel, what God is telling him to do is, yes, to take a physical action of moving to the land of Israel. But even deeper than that, what's really happening in this story is God is telling Abraham that he needs to leave his lower state of consciousness and transcend himself so that he can enter into the new state of consciousness. But one way that Abraham does this, a way that he transcends his current state of consciousness, is through the physical action of leaving his country, leaving his people, leaving his father's household, and going to the land of Israel. So what we learn here from this story is that the Creator, God, the light, works through people, works through not just purely out of consciousness, but out of our actions. And this is symbolized to us through Abraham leaving his household and moving to the land of Israel. That is an action that he has taken that is far out of his comfort zone. The decoding of the story then goes even deeper when it says that by Abraham taking these physical, uncomfortable actions that he took simply by getting the intuitive hit, you could say, by the Creator, by God. By taking these actions, he was actually physically removing what Kabbalah calls klipot. Now, what klipot are they are shells that are separating our body from our soul. It is these klipot that are bounding us to this physical world and to these illusionary world and to our limitations. The reason we have limitations is because we have so many klipot, so many shells that are blocking us from the light of the Creator, from the total goodness that exists in this world in the higher dimensions. Because as humanity, we are naturally on the lower dimensions of consciousness. In order for us to transcend these levels of consciousness, including limitations, we must our klipot. One way to transcend our limitations is to take physical, uncomfortable actions, is to expand ourselves beyond what we even believe is possible for ourselves. Now, as most of you know, and as I've mentioned before in so many of my videos, the Bible, Old Testament, is not meant to be taken literally is literal history lessons. So let's break down some of the codes that are in this story. So it said that the term leave your land is actually code for your personal garbage. So leave your personal baggage behind. Then it said leave your birthplace, and leave your birthplace is code for the negativity that came through our mother. So whatever baggage that our soul is clinging on to from the lessons that we did not yet learn from our mother, that is what is meant by leave your birthplace. It then says leave your father's house. This is code for the negativity that came from your father from your previous life. So very interestingly, it's not only saying that in order to transcend our limitations, we must transcend our own personal garbage, our own ego, our own baggage that we carry into this life, which Kabbalah calls a tikkun. Tikkun is exactly that. It's the baggage that we bring into this life that we carry that follows us from life to life to life. It's the same challenges that appear again and again in our own personal lives that we must transform and overcome in order to do the work that our soul came here to do in this world. So it's not only saying that we have our own baggage to overcome, but it's also saying leave the baggage that you got from your mother and from your father. So to make it simple and to really sum up the main premise and message that I want to share with you in this video is that in order to transcend to a higher state of consciousness, we must leave our comfort zone. It is damn comfortable and it is damn familiar to stay stuck in our limitations because it's all we know. We were born into this world with the traumas that our ancestors laid down for us. Not to mention, many people were born into this world and immediately faced traumas when they came into this world or are born into circumstances that are unfavorable and that leave a blueprint on how the person shows up, on how the person views reality. Interestingly, last week we had the story of Noah's Ark. And in the story of Noah's Ark, we learned that the world got to such a negative place that the Creator had no other choice but to completely wipe out all of humanity and cause a huge destruction and catastrophe in this world in order for us to start fresh. And unfortunately, the reality is that our world has been hit many times, again and again and again, by tragedies that occur, all for the purpose of waking humanity up. And if humanity does not wake up, if we are not proactive about changing, then we're gonna get smacked in the face again and again and again with challenges, and it's only gonna get worse and worse and worse. This goes for us on a personal level as well as a collective level as humanity as a whole. If we're not proactive about making a change in our lives, if we are not the ones taking initiative to ask, how can I change? How can I be better? How can I rise above my limitations and become a better version of myself? Overcome these challenges, break these shells that are covering my soul. If we are not doing the spiritual work that we need to do, not only will life continue to throw us constant challenges to wake us up to the fact that we need a change, but if we still don't learn the lesson, we're gonna have to come back again and again and again. And I'm assuming that's not what we want to do. This is why the spiritual work is so important, because we want to get it right this time around. We now have the tools, we have the merit of understanding spirituality in this lifetime. So how do we actually do this? What does being proactive to transcend our limitations actually look like? Well, for starters, the number one thing that we should be striving to do on a consistent basis is to actively do things in our day-to-day life that leaves our comfort zone. Now, this doesn't have to be just physical things. It can also be choosing new thought patterns on a day-to-day basis. This could be doing a more sharing act when it's uncomfortable to do something sharing, but you are going outside of your comfort zone in order to do that. That is you being proactive and making a change before you are forced to have to make a change. As soon as you leave your comfort zone to do something that you intuitively know is right for you and right for your soul, you are instantly connecting yourself with the light. You're tapping yourself into blessings. You are making that move in transcending your limitations and rising higher in your consciousness and connecting with the truth. Another thing that you can do, and actually should have made this first, but whatever, is you must actually make the decision to want to overcome your selfish desire. The only reason that we do not want to overcome our comfort zone is because we're stuck in our ego selfish desires. Kabbalah would call it the desire to receive for the self alone. Desire is good, right? We all should have desires. We should all want abundance in our lives and we should want the best for ourselves in this world. But there's a difference between a soul desire and an ego desire. An ego desire is a desire that we have to receive for ourselves and ourselves alone, like nobody else, just purely for a selfish reason of wanting to fulfill an instant gratification desire. Whereas a soul desire is a desire that we have that is in alignment with our soul that will not only benefit us if we receive our desire, but it will benefit the world. It will benefit other people as well. Having a big desire in life is a good thing. It's an amazing thing. We are beings of desire, as long as that desire comes with the right intention. So as soon as you make that decision to want to overcome your selfish desire, you open up that support in allowing the light into your life to support you in overcoming that desire, right? You're not expected to completely overcome your selfish desire in a day. It's literally a part of the human process and why we're here. But if you desire to overcome your selfishness, if you desire to transcend your limitations, if you desire to be a better version of yourself, simply by declaring that into the universe, declaring that you have that desire to become better, you are then opening up the floodgates of light to enter into your life and to walk with you on that path. So you are no longer doing this life alone. You are no longer trying to overcome such a strong force on your own. So that's the second thing, is to actually desire the support in you overcoming your limitations. And the third thing that I will leave with you is to practice pausing before reacting negatively to seemingly negative situations in your external environment. This world is illusionary. This week specifically is a very powerful time to hold back. Every time you stop yourself from speaking with malice or speaking from anger to somebody else, especially to those you don't agree with, as soon as you stop yourself from that instant gratification, you receive so much more light than you can comprehend. So I'm going to end this video off here. If you guys got value from today's video, first of all, make sure that you're subscribed to the email list where I send out weekly emails where I share stories just like the story that I shared to you of Abraham, but I go in much more details into the stories in the Old Testament from a Kabbalistic perspective, where I share not only the stories and what they are on a physical level, but I go even deeper and share some deep Kabbalistic nuggets of wisdom on what the energies mean, how they relate to our lives today, how we can make the most of the weekly energy and elevate our lives for the better, working with the energy so we're prepared for the energy rather than working against it. So definitely be sure to sign up for that weekly newsletter to stay up to date. I'll leave it in the description and in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next one.